So we have first 2 episodes. This is the third one. Every month we're going to be doing one episode. So the topic for the today is ketogenic diet. Before we go further, like what's really normal weight? Somebody who's very tall might be, might have a more weight versus somebody who's not very tall. So we now talk about body mass index, which is actually a ratio between height and weight. And so the normal BMI is, just remember, it's between 18 and 25. If you're less than 18 and you're here, you're in the wrong spot. You should be here. And if you're between 18 and 25, the BMI is normal. Between 25 and 30 BMI, that is known as overweight, and above 30 is known as obesity. So anytime the BMI is more than 30, there's a simple formula to calculate that. Most softwares or medical record system do calculate automatically, or you can go online and see BMI calculator and put your height and weight, and it will give you your BMI. Exercise is good, but for weight loss is always the diet control. Most efficient way to lose weight is by watching the calories. And that's why we're doing a next episode, which is today, is for ketogenic diet, which is a kind of diet. Why people like this diet? Because it works, but it has its downside too. So we're going to talk all about it. So, here's the health. So you have to lose weight to become healthy, right? So you can go this way. And then we said, you can just bypass the exercise and you can go straight to the weight loss and still be healthy. And we said no to exercise. And again, somebody said I was doing a disfavor to my patients, and one of my patients actually said, and I said, why was that? And he said, exercise is a good thing. And I said, yes, you're right, and maybe I didn't make my point. The point is not for the weight loss, it is good for everything else, but when it comes to the weight loss, it is not the effective way, and I'm going to give you the reason why. Obviously you don't want to exercise like him, but generally speaking, the weight loss is simple maths. What you eat, what you burn, the difference is weight gain or weight loss. So then before we go further, like what are the calories? We keep talking about the calories, right? Scientific language, it is made of energy. The amount of energy you exert in doing an activity is made by the calories. So you have to burn 3,500 calories to lose 1 pound of fat. Now let me give you an example. One donut have almost 500 calories. So if you have to lose 10 pounds, that's 3,500 calories. And if you have to do the math, we did the math last time. So if you have to lose 20 pounds, you will have to run around 700 to 1,000 miles to lose 20 pounds. And the reason is we are very efficient machines. Human beings are designed very efficiently. Genetically, we are designed to be like a caveman person, and they didn't have drive-through back then, and that's why they got the human evolution change our genetics in such a way that we can use minimum amount of energy or calories to do maximum work. But with the last 100 years, with the change in society, everything is like, buy one, get one free situation, drive-throughs, everything, more and more and more. So there's the abundance of calories, obviously for a monetary reason. So it has caused an epidemic of obesity. The reason is that we can't really just burn it. It is so difficult to burn, and not with the exercise. So we can go to gym and everything, but it wouldn't work. So we have to be very careful what we eat, and I keep saying, the last time I said, okay, we don't put diesel in gasoline cars, right? We don't, because we know it's going to be bad for the cars. And why do we eat everything without looking at the labels first in our own bodies? We live once and we have only one body to take care of, so do it well. Now we're going to the main topic. What is a ketogenic diet? In the human body, there are two pathways for producing energy. One is the carbohydrate, like from glucose, and one is from fat. So from the fat, the byproduct is known as ketones, and it has been used in the very, very old days even for treating epilepsy in children who wouldn't get better with the anti-seizure medications, they will get better with ketogenic diet. And the reason is that ketones, they will cross the blood-brain barrier, will go to the brain, and it will normalize the brain activity. So it has a lot of roles, and there are some studies now that are looking into use of ketogenic diet in treatment of Alzheimer's disease, also in Parkinson's prevention or treatment. So there's a lot of interest in ketogenic diet for other medical reasons, not just for the weight loss. You see, this blue thing is fat, and the green is protein, and this red is carb. So a ketogenic diet consists of this thing: 75% fat, 20% protein, and 5% carbohydrate. That's classical ketogenic diet. What we are saying is you're losing fat by eating fat. This is a typical Western diet. I mean, you can see the amount of carbs. That's almost 55%, and the fat is 30%, and 15% is your proteins. So this is ketogenic diet. Ketogenic diet is also being used for cancer treatment. It improves the body's immunity against the cancer. So it has roles in besides the neurological disorders in treatment of cancer as well, in some fashion. So there are different kind of ketogenic diet. Let's talk about it. Like standard ketogenic diet, again, 75% fat, 20% proteins, 5% carbs. That's standard ketogenic diet. Cyclic ketogenic diet. So basically, you do 5 days of ketogenic diet and 2 days of just a regular diet. So you don't burn out, or you have a little bit of everything. 5 days, 2 days, cyclic ketogenic diet. Targeted ketogenic diet. Professional athletes or bodybuilders, they use this approach when they get close to their competitions. They get into ketogenic diet, like high in fat, I mean low in calories though, and that way they can burn the fat more faster. So high protein ketogenic diet, it has a little bit more of protein, less of fat. So it's less intense ketogenic diet. So that's high protein ketogenic diet. So cyclic or targeted ketogenic diet is used mostly for like guys like these, for before the competitions. You can't sustain it, so because they have to do heavy lifting, so they do normal diet, eat normally, higher calories throughout the year, and last 3 months before the competition, they try to go on ketogenic diet. The other thing is, when body have so many fat, it start another mechanism known as ketogenic pathway in the body, and that actually start to use fat as a primary source of energy instead of carbohydrates, and that is like a nuclear reaction. I mean, it's have intense amount of energy. So you would actually be using your own body fat as energy, and it is so much that you cannot compare from like for same amount of carbohydrates versus same amount of fat. The energy from the fat would be a lot more available. So and then it produces byproducts, which is known as ketones. That's why the people who are in ketosis or ketogenic diet, their breath smells fruity because of the acetone. The acetone is a ketone, and acetone is the same thing as a nail polish remover. So body produce ketones, and acetone is one of them, and then they exhale in their breath, and it looks fruity, or smells fruity. So somebody can say, "Oh, your breath looks very fruity or smells fruity," and that shows that they might be in a ketogenic phase, or they are in a ketogenic phase. Likewise, the urine will smell different. It will smell also more fruity smell, and then if you have those features, and if you're not diabetic, because if you are diabetic and if you have those things, that's bad, that's dangerous. I mean, then you need to go to the hospital. Ketosis in diabetes is a very lethal complication. So, but if you're not diabetic and your sugar is normal, then if you're trying to do a ketogenic diet, and if you see those If you have those parameters, or if you feel like your breath is changing, then you're getting there. And I think the main reason people like this diet is that obviously the fat is more tasty and more protein, but also you don't have to calculate the calories anymore. And the reason is that you wouldn't be hungry. You don't have to calculate the calories because you're not hungry anymore, because your ketones are providing such an intense amount of energy to your body, you wouldn't feel any need to eat an outside diet. So now we know a little bit about ketogenic diet, right? Somebody asks you and you say, okay, I heard it, I know what the ketogenic diet is. But if you want to try it, what should you do? How should you start? So first thing is what you shouldn't be eating. Do not eat grains, sugar, fruit, and tubers. Potato, jams, etc., apples. So anything which have carbohydrate, get rid of that. Second, if you don't pronounce it, don't eat it. Simple rule. Do eat, high fat, high carbohydrates. High protein. I'm sorry. Like meat, leafy green vegetables, above ground vegetables. They have less carbohydrates. Dairy products, high fat dairy products. So this is like totally opposite of what the conventional wisdom is when you do the weight loss. We all go to like 1% fat milk or whatever. It's opposite now. Avocados and berries, nuts and seeds, sweeteners which are not like low carb sweeteners, coconut oil, high fat salad dressing, stuff like that. All the bad stuff, right? So it does work. It takes when you start doing the ketogenic diet, it will take few weeks before you guys kick in. You wouldn't start eating this food the same day and then expect you to be in a ketogenic phase the next day. It takes around 3 to 4 weeks. But the trick is stay away from the carbohydrates and high fat, some proteins diet. And after a while, your body will not feel hungry anymore. So even though you're eating fat, but the calories would be still like you were eating before, then you start to lose weight very easily. And you lose easily because you are still more energetic. So you're not like having a lack of energy because you're dieting, but you have a lot of energy and dieting. That's why you are having a double dipping, because you're losing weight both ways, by exercise and by diet. So what is a keto flu? Is a complication when people start doing the ketogenic diet. They first few weeks they feel sick, and it is known as keto flu. There's no vaccination for that actually. Poor energy and mental function, increased hunger, sleep issues, nausea, digestive discomfort, decreased exercise performance. So this will happen in first few weeks. If you can bypass first few weeks, then you will cross a bridge and you will go to paradise. And that was the end of my presentation. And I always love the questions. Oh, you can see the slide, right? In ketogenic diet, and it's a good question, the ketogenic diet is low carbohydrate. So anything gluten would be mostly commonly in the carbohydrates. So it would be actually better for somebody who has celiac disease or who have a gluten sensitivity to stay on the ketogenic diet.